because we have an internal rotation and we have an external rotation, right? So on this one, it's bimanual thumb feet arc grasp of the proximal humerus with knee extension for loss of internal rotation and of course loss of external rotation. So if we think about this from a motion perspective versus static palpation, a loss of internal rotation would essentially be the same as an external rotation misalignment. So it's either, if we look at it statically, it's externally rotated and just kind of stuck there. So we need to create internal rotation. Or from a motion palpation perspective, you challenged internal rotation and internal rotation just isn't happening. All right, so we're going to put more internal rotation in there. So again, we're going to straddle the arm with the legs. Now you're going to notice on this one, we're going to have to take out a fair amount of tissue slack. All right, there's going to be a lot of tissue slack here, so we really have to take that out before we even start to challenge that joint in internal or external rotation. So at this point, we're going to internally rotate, extend the knees to try to bring that long axis distraction in there, and then there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Some people like to distract and then just thrust in that internal rotation. Some people like to hold the internal rotation and thrust as they're maintaining that pressure, thrusting through the knees, and then other people kind of do both, all right? So I don't think there necessarily is a right or a wrong way on that, as long as you're effectively getting that internal rotation as you're going through this thrust. I think that's what you're looking for. That's a win. So whatever you're more comfortable with on this one. And then of course our external rotation is just going to be the opposite. All right, so let's have somebody over here, please. Blood for punishment. All right, so on this one, bringing the table back down again. Now, remember, when it comes to the lab practical, move the table. If you have to do something, you need the table up, move the table up. Don't just suck it up because the table was where it was and you're just going to deal with it. You know, move the table appropriately for the correct maneuver. All right, when you're in your office, you're going to be moving the tables up and down. You know, as long as you don't have just a flat bench in your table in your office, you're going to be moving stuff up and down all the time, right? So try to approach these exams like this was really impatient. Okay, I'll bring it over just a little bit. All right, so on this one, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab the arm here, and for internal rotation, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this tissue and look at this. That's all tissue. All right, just that much is tissue. That's joint. All right, so there's a lot we have to take out on that. So I'm going to come over here and take tissue. I can distract, take that internal rotation, and then I can thrust with my knees as I'm still creating that internal rotation. If I'm doing external rotation, I come in and I take that tissue slack out. Now I'm getting into joint. And now, as I'm holding that joint, I can thrust as I'm extending. All right, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this. These two, please.